Hey guys, it's Devin Townsend, here to rank all my albums myself. Never thought you'd see that, right? Well, anyway, here I am, in the flesh. It's me, Devin. Sorry, eh? No. Could you imagine if I actually did the whole video in that mask? God. What's up, everybody? It's your homie. And we finally come to this. It's finally come to this. This is what we're doing today. All of those. Every single goddamn one of these we're talking about. As you can see, my Devin collection is very extensive. The whole bottom part of my shelf is dedicated to him. But there's two reasons. Because one, they're big things, and where am I going to put these? And two, you see this? See this right here? This is why you don't buy shit from IKEA. Because it sucks. I've been waiting like a whole year to talk about this man. We finally got his new albums. We have another one coming out in like 3 months, which I debated. I debated waiting on this until Lightwork came out. But you know what? I've had this script done since last March. 9 months. 9 months I've been waiting to talk about Devin. I'm not going a whole year, okay? 28 albums. I debated including all the demo shit like the Astor demos, you know, like Epic Clouder, Holding Patterns, the Ghost 2, you know, all like the demos and stuff. But this man has so many demos that I had to stop at like the official finished albums. In any case, you know, Solo, Strapping Young Lad, Devin Townsend Band, Devin Townsend Project, Casualties of Cool, and Steve Vai. 6 projects right now. Grab a snack, grab some, I don't know, some cookies, get some crackers, because this is going to be a marathon, alright? So please, join me in talking about one of the goddamn best, the best ever, Devin Townsend. Yeah, so really a no-brainer. The Hummer is quite obviously in last place because it's barely anything at all. I have heard it 2 times. The first time I was going through his discography, and on his website, I believe, in his description about it, he's like, or somewhere it says to listen to this while you're falling asleep. I tried it, and I woke up in the middle of it, and I was so damn scared because I don't know where the hell I was or who the hell I was for several seconds. And I was like, oh shit, I actually fell asleep listening to this. But it didn't help me much because it gave me a nightmare when I woke up. And then moving right along, Dev Lab, pretty obviously too. It's at least more than the Hummer, which is why it's above it. I still don't know what the shit this album is. It's just a bunch of sounds, small and large. Just ambient stuff, which he later did a better version of. So I think anyone can see these two coming on the bottom. So let's move on to the first actual album. So Physicist is mostly interesting because the hell that went behind the scenes trying to make this album. Everyone that he wanted to play on it couldn't. So he got the guys from Strapping to play on this. So you end up with this weird Devin Townsend solo and Strapping Young Lad hybrid that really doesn't mix well together. Not to mention, the production on this album is got to be like the worst of all of them. I think the only noteworthy song is Namaste, which they did it live, so that pretty much makes the studio version obsolete. And Kingdom, which they re-recorded for Epic Cloud, which also makes it obsolete. So, yeah, there's really no point in listening to this album, to be honest. I mean, even Dev himself says, like, yeah, this is his least favorite because very obvious reasons. Now, his debut with Steve Vai, Sex and Religion. It's a decent record. It's just not really memorable. And honestly, just compared to Devin's actual stuff, I definitely prefer his stuff. The only songs that I really liked on here were In My Dreams With You and Dirty Black Hole. It's mostly just cool to see like where he started with this one. Next, we have his actual debut with Heavy as a Really Heavy Thing. So, it's pretty much make as much noise as you can, the record. There's a couple of songs that I really like on here, you know, SYL, Hi, My Name is Dev, Can I Take Your Stinking Order, in the Rainy Season, and Happy Camper is just ludicrous. But that's about it, though. I mean, it was his first one. He would later perfect his craft immediately following this album. Snuggles is about as far away as you can get from Heavy as a Really Heavy Thing. It's a nice little bonus piece that accompanied the puzzle that's basically just like all the ambient stuff in like Casualties of Cool and Ghost, but like a full record of it. It's fine. It's definitely much more listenable than everything below this. But again, it's also just kind of like a revamped version of the Hummer. Where like if you took the Hummer and you like cranked it so like you amplified it like 30 times so you actually hear something. It's decent, but like, you know, it's just kind of ambient stuff. And then we have the strapping self-titled album. So this one's okay. Like, I really like Aftermath. That's one of my favorite strapping songs. And I also really like Bring On The Young. But other than that, you can tell, like, I'm pretty sure Devin didn't even like really play guitar on this, because this was at the same time they were doing Accelerated Evolution. This one unfortunately got the lesser treatment. And, you know, it's just kind of the one that's sandwiched between, like, the two giants of strapping young lad. So before we move on, I'm going to make a disclaimer. Alright, we're talking about 28 albums. I'm definitely going to have a few hot takes in this video, as you would expect. Because if you think your 28 album list and my 28 album list are going to be perfectly in sync, you're out of your mind, okay? There are some albums I like more than others, and there are some albums that other people definitely like more than me, which is this next one. Because to be honest, I never got into Casualties that much, which is a shame because this was the first album to come out after I was listening to him. But it was only like a few weeks later, so like I wasn't even done listening to all of his stuff yet. So it doesn't really count for that, but and I think to make it clear, and this goes for several albums that we'll talk about, I think it absolutely nails what it's going for. You know, if you're in the mood for some country, driving, vibin' Devin, then this definitely hits the spot. But I wouldn't say that's what I go to for Devin most of the time. And I think the first few tracks, like Daddy and Mountaintop, are good. And then later on, Fields. But it kind of loses me after that. Like, it's a really long album. And the songs just kind of blend together for me. I know a lot of people like this, but maybe one day. But for now, it's just kind of okay. Alright, kicking number 20 is The Puzzle. Remember when I said I wouldn't consider it top 20 even? Well, I lied. It's number 20. But honestly, whereas Snuggles is like the Hummer revamped, Puzzle is like DevLab revamped. And those are both my least favorite Devin albums. So, you know, it's still not quite what I'm looking for in Devin, but still, like, just the story and the idea behind it, it makes sense for what it is. It's a really cool listen throughout, but obviously I'm not going to be listening to there's something with frog something, I'm not going to be jamming that, every day. But still, it's a cool experience. It's a really neat album, but there's just a lot better Devin Townsend albums, let's be real. There's some highlights, Chromatic Ridge, Me and the Moon, Starchasm, Over the Void, Monuments of Glitch, the title track. When you compare it to his other albums, there's better ones. Like Terria, it's another decent record. Earth Day, classic. Deep Peace is also really good. But most of the album is pretty much all it's all mid-tempo jams, and there's not a whole lot of variety on it. It's okay, but obviously it's far from the best, but still pretty solid. Synkistra is actually pretty different from the first DTB album, but I don't think it's nearly as good, to be honest. Baby Song's good, Vampira and Vampolka are really good, and the snare in Vampira has got to be the tiniest, littlest snare in the world. It sounds like it's a 1-inch snare. Gaia and Judgment are the other standouts, I think. There's just Vampire is the only one that I really like. Yeah, it just falls into the okay Devin territory. Alright, if the Casualties hot take pissed you off, get ready for this one, because I think this is probably my biggest hot take in this video.
What the fuck was that?
Alien. Not that big of a fan of it. I know that's blasphemy, considering even Devin himself is yeah, this is the quintessential strapping album, but I'm sorry, there's I guess there's 2 albums that I prefer over it, but besides a couple tracks like Love, Shitstorm, and We-Ride, but yeah, besides those, I just don't care for it that much, which sucks because shout out to my boy Josh, but look at that. I got it signed. I mean, I didn't get it signed myself, but my friend found this at a disc replay. Yeah, someone sold this signed, the best strapping album, signed by all 4 of them, to disc replay, probably for $2. What a moron. And I guess there's a special version of Alien where it has a couple bonus tracks, an extended version of Love. But I have the standard version, because it doesn't say anything about no special. Except the version of Love is the extended one. So, I don't know what the hell's going on. It's not at the end. It's track 4 is Love, and it's extended. Which, I don't know if it's all of them that do that, but then, where is the shortened version? I just don't understand. I have some, weird copy that has the longer version of Love. That replaced the shorter version, which honestly I like the shorter version better anyway, just because it's more condensed, and the longer version just kind of goes on for too long. But anyway, Key, which is the first Devin Townsend Project album. This one has a couple great tracks on it, like Disruptor. Heaven Send has a really cool break in it. Train Fire is a fun shuffle song, and the title track is pretty wild at the end. Overall, it's just much more pleasing to listen to than Alien, although I don't think it has that many standout tracks. And I'm so goddamn upset because it's the only one that I don't have the slipcase for, and that really pisses me off. I even ordered it from his website, because you can see it's signed. Anything you ever bought off his website, half of this shit is signed, because I had to buy it off his website, because yeah, good luck trying to find all of Devin's stuff at half-price books. Good luck. So if you guys don't know the story behind Infinity, I highly urge you to go check out the podcast he did talking about this album, because apparently he was an absolute maniac when he was working on this album. Truth is a classic, but like Kingdom, it got redone for Transcendence and so much better. Christine is a decent jam. War and Bad Devil are my favorite songs on here. They're both really damn good. I just love like the devilish, snapping. It's like the devil and like a couple demons are just like strolling down the streets in hell listening to Bad Devil. And then War is just such a fun like shuffling song. And then like just the break in the middle of it where he's just like, can you please stop the noise for once, please? And then it goes into like some like Halo-ish jam at the end. Oh, such good songs. Then you have like Ants, which I don't even know what the hell that song is. Colonial Boy actually reminds me kind of a bit of Arion, which is pretty cool. And then Unity is a nice, peaceful finale to the album. At least it should have been. Overall, I think this is where shit gets like really good. So, and speaking of really good, that brings me to the next one. More hot takes, baby. Okay, look. Is Punky Brewster objectively better than Infinity or like Alien? Hell no. No, it is not. But I'm sorry. It's just too much fun. It's basically like Ziltoid, like a whole decade before Ziltoid happened. It's funny, it's catchy, and it's a fun record to go through all the way. And look, I get, if this is on your bottom, I understand why. It's a goofy punk record that's just a parody. It's Devin being Weird Al. That's all this is. But fuck, I love listening to this. And I got this bitch signed, not because I bought it on his website. It's you want a challenge? Try to find Punky Brewster physically. It took me a whole goddamn year to find it. I found it on a Discogs randomly. I looked every day for a whole year, and then I found it. And I had to beg the guy to like sell this to me because I've been looking for a year. And then at a meet and greet, I took this album to Devin and I got it signed by him. So this was a hand signed one that I personally got. So it's just that whole experience and just the album itself. It's fun. It's a fun album. That's all I gotta say. The final outing for Strapping Young Lad. The New Black has some of my favorite Strapping songs. You Suck is hilarious, and you just want to blast it to everyone you don't like. Wrong Side is just really good. Anti-Product, More Flames. Fucker, just send Fucker to like everyone you hate. Tell them to listen to Fucker. Then you have like Almost Again, which is just, it's not even a Strapping song. It straight up sounds like you can hear that song on like Terry or something. It's just a Devin solo song. And then of course you have my favorite Strapping song ever, Far Beyond Metal. Because I was in that stage for several years where it's like, if you don't like metal, fuck you. Our music's better. Shut the hell up. And then there's a part in Monuments that straight up shows back up in Lucky Animals on Epicloud. So, fuck, I really like this album. Like the only songs I didn't mention were like, okay, well there's like 5 songs that I don't get down with, but that's probably why it's down here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I think it's just better than Alien. So from here on out, this is Top Notch Dev, the top 12 Devin M's, where all the songs are really strong and there's like barely any weak tracks. And we start that list with Ghost. This album is just really great. Fly and As You Were are my favorites on this album. It's just, this is his most mellow album, maybe with the exception of Snuggles Now. But like I mentioned with Casualties, it just nails what it's going for. This is released the same day as Deconstruction, as like the chill piece to that craziness. And again, it's not my go-to Devin album or the style, which is why it's at number 12. But like anytime I'm like in the mood where I don't want to like even listen to music, I'm just like just give me something just clean. It's always Ghost every damn time. And that brings us to our final sounds from the Devin Townsend project, Transcendence, which was pretty hype. When he dropped Failure as the single, I listened to that song so much. We have our great redo of Truth on here. We have Storm Bending, which just has like one of the most powerful choruses I ever heard, along with Failure. Super emotional. Failure is just one of my favorite DTP songs ever. I think RVP really outdid himself on that track. His best work since Planet of the Apes, by far. Higher is a great song, especially the last half. And then Offer Your Light, which I can't believe he almost didn't put that on the album. Like in the linear notes on this album, he talks about every track. And he says Offer Your Light almost didn't make the record. But he says it would have dragged too much if like Transcendence went like to from the heart. Like there was a bunch of soft, like slower songs, like the last half of the album. So Offer Your Light was meant to kind of break that, which is crazy to me because I fucking love Offer Your Light. Even RVP, when the album was coming out, he talked about his favorite songs, and that was one of them. And it's pretty easy to see why. Stars has a really nice chorus. It's pretty cool. You can see him making the whole song on that live stream. But everything else I think is pretty okay. Yeah, and then we have like 11 demos holding patterns, which I didn't include, like I mentioned earlier, because with the demos is just too much. It's too much stuff. But yeah, Transcendence, great final album. Dude, I was so devastated when he disbanded the DTP, because that's the Devin of my generation, dude. Dev, Beeve, Dave Young, Mike St. John, and RVP. Those 5 men are the Devin of my generation. So I genuinely hope that he brings them back at some point. I was really surprised that none of them showed up on the puzzle. At least I don't think. Mike St. John might be in there, but I didn't see anyone else in there. But anyway, yeah, Transcendence, good final album, a lot of great songs, just a couple okay songs. Oh, here we go. Top 10 time, guys. We're almost there. So surprisingly enough, I've seen Empath having quite the mixed reaction when it came out. Many were claiming it to be his masterpiece. I don't know about that. And I've even seen some people say it sucks. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Empath sucks. Okay, I've heard like 8 albums in my life out of like 1,400 of them that suck. And Empath, sure as shit, isn't one of them. So if you think this fucking sucks, go listen to Lulu or Catharsis by Machine Head, and then tell me that this fucking sucks. Okay? I'm sorry, I just get irritated when I see morons talking about stuff. But yeah, the album itself, okay? So there's a lot of great tracks, like, Genesis, Borderlands, Why. Everyone loves Why. Hear Me, and then about half a Singularity. But yeah, there are some that I don't fully love, like Spiritual Collide, Sprite. I love the drink, but not the song as much. And like Evermore, and like some parts of Singularity, like part 4 and 5. Was it? Yeah, like Curious Gods and Silicon Scientists are just kind of strange. But yeah, overall, like, oh my god, the last part, Here Comes the Sun, like, the very last part of that song Like, it just finishes off so strong. And I love that lyric, you know. Though the future is hard to see, I'll shine for you if you shine for me. Or shine on me, one of those two. Oh man, especially when this album came out. Some fucking piece of shit in my life, bro. This album has kind of gone into like a certain territory where it's a lot more personal than a lot of people's are going to be. So for that reason, it's like I still love this album, but there's a lot of there's some bad memories that taint this album just a little bit. And then honestly, I don't remember the demos that much, but I do remember Middle-Aged Man, and Middle-Aged Man is a pretty funny song. So yeah, it's about half and half for me, but the half I like, I really do like. Accelerated Evolution. I love the guitar tones on this album. I think it's my favorite guitar tone I've ever heard Dev use. Especially in songs like Away, obviously Deadhead, Sunday Afternoon. I love the vibe that this album has going for it. But to be honest, I think the studio version of Deadhead is completely obsolete now. Because that Royal Albert Hall performance of Deadhead, I mean, there's a reason that everyone tells like all the reactors to go to that performance, because it's so much better than the studio version. It's ridiculous. And you know, reaction videos get a lot of shit, and honestly for good reason, but there's one type that I tolerate, and that's music reactions. And I gotta tell you, man, watching people's faces light up when that part comes in Deadhead, it's just really amazing, to be honest. It's like that performance and the Kingdom when he plays at EMG. Like, people love to use those two because it really shows just how great Dev really is. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracked again. Yeah, just Slow Me Down is really great too. Depth Charge I like. It's just a really, it's as an overall album, it's so great to listen to front to back, because I just think there's just something about this one. And then there's like the disc 2, where it's kind of like the electro EP, which is a neat bonus, but yeah, just really weird. Also, am I the only one who thinks it's weird how like when they went from DTB to DTP, it's the same guys, but besides Dev and RVP, the other three guys just like did a rotation. Like Beeve went from what did Beeve do? Beeve went from guitar to bass. Dave Young went from keys to guitar, and then Mike St. John went from bass to keys. I just think it's so interesting how they all just decided to switch instruments, just because why the fuck not? But yeah, anyway, let's move on. Another fire-ass album from the project, Epic Cloud, was the DTP album that was never meant to be, because it was just supposed to be those first 4 albums. But I guess he just liked the name, so he just continued releasing albums under that name. We got 3 more, which is I'm pretty glad about that. It's a great blend of like your typical Dev stuff and like definitely a more of like a pop rocky sound coming in, with tracks like True North, Divine, and Hold On. And then you have like the super heavy ass ones like The Kingdom Redo, Grace, and more. Yeah, give me more. Please, Dev, give me more of this. Almost every track on here, except I think the last 3, I really like. But yeah, there's just other great songs like Lucky Animals is so much fun. Where We Belong, I absolutely love listening to that one. Like, yeah, it's just Lessons, Hold On, and Angel, where I just kind of drift off a bit. But then there's the bonus track, Take My Ego. It's not on the physical version, but I Take My Ego is another one of my favorite songs by his. It's just, fuck, this is where we get to like the really good Devin albums. and it got really difficult to put this list together. Addicted, I think, is like one of the top 5 albums to go all the way through. It's such an enjoyable listen with like the title track, Universe in a Ball, Bend It Like Bender. Is such a great song. I'm gonna learn that on piano one day, I swear to God. Like Super Crush, Awake, Numbered. I love every song. Every song on here I think is really, really damn good. Except the new version of Hyperdrive. I don't know. I just think I like it so much better when Dev's singing it. And it just has such a good atmosphere on the Ziltoid version. But other than that, yeah, every single song on here slays so damn hard. Also, you like this? The green, blue, and the red. Just like the album artwork. Bet you didn't notice that, huh? I take my lighting very seriously over here. So, all the standout songs on Sky Blue. Rejoice, Fallout, Midnight Sun, A New Rain, Universal Flame, Sky Blue, Silent Militia, and Before We Die. All those songs are... goddamn, I love these songs. And Rejoice, man, that was the first single. Because, yeah, Z2 was like the first album to come out when I was like officially a fan. When Rejoice came out, that's exactly what I did. I rejoiced in this brand new music. And, oh man. And the only shitty part about Fallout is they got, I really wish he kept his vocals. Because he was uploading videos of him like making the album to his YouTube. And one of them, he was recording the Fallout vocals.
Fallout!
And I was so excited to hear that, but then he replaced his vocals on it, which kind of bummed me out, to be honest. But other than that, Midnight Sun, that is my calming song. Anytime I'm in a really bad mood, I put on Midnight Sun, and it helps so much. It's such a calming song. You know, then there's the other tracks like Warrior and Rain City are just kind of fine. And also every single song has like that really long whooshy outro that really could have been cut down a bit, to be honest. It's a little overkill, but, you know, it's fine. I mean, especially I think one of these songs is like 9 minutes long, and half of that is just like the outro. And it's like, good God, Dev, it's enough, alright? And, not to brag or anything, but, I happen to be on this album, and it is the, Universal Choir. So, yeah, that's kind of the high point of my life. And then, yeah, Sky Blue, the song, like, I have my night driving playlist, and that song is there. You listen to Sky Blue when you're driving at night. And damn, I know it's sky blue as, you know, it's supposed to be the day, but at nighttime, that song hits so damn good. Everybody loves Ziltoid. He is Devin's mascot. And his first album is really damn good. Every single song is just full of heavy-ass riffs and really memorable lyrics. I'm not the biggest fan of N9, but beyond that, I love everything else. My favorite parts, honestly, were just like the clean sections. Like, you know, most of Solar Winds, and then the middle part of Color Your World. Absolutely love how they sound. My only real complaint is the programmed drums are kind of off-putting, to be honest. Like, especially in Ziltoidia Attacks, one is just like, like what is that? Like 128th notes per second, just absolutely ludicrous. And then I have to have like the back, like the inner sticker on the back of it, because like removing the tag left like it all sticky, and obviously you can't fix that on these, so I just have that so it doesn't ruin the front of whatever album is before this. And then you have like the bonus songs with like traveling salesman, which, like, it's such a goofy song, but I actually kind of love it. And then, like, the whole 8-minute messages from Ziltoid, especially when he's on the radio talk show. Like, oh my god, just, damn, it's such a fun album. It's a really, really fun album. But, I think there's one album that's even more fun. And welcome to my final hot take of this video. Because Dark Matters is better than the OG Ziltoid. Fucking come at me. Like, I know. I'm probably like the only one in the world. Or like there's only like 5% of us that like Dark Matters more than the OG Ziltoid. But just barely. Barely. Like, it's only one spot above it. But a couple reasons. One, real drums always beat program drums. I don't give a fuck what you say. You cannot tell me that program drums are better than a real one. RVP is better than fucking real, or like what is it? Drums from Hell or whatever the fuck program he used. RVP's better. Two, it's a spiritual successor to Punky Brewster, which, if you remember, I had at like the middle of the list. It's a lot of fun. And this album is pretty much the exact same style, where there's like a narrator and it's a story, and it's a whole, like, project. Three, it's nostalgic, man. You guys have an album where you remember when you got it, when you first heard it, and you remember everything about it. That to me is just Z2 as a whole. I listened to Sky Blue on the train ride from home to school, and I spent the whole day in all my classes just so excited to be done so I can listen to Dark Matters. And it was before I had my jazz practice. I had like a couple hours, and I literally just sat there listening to Dark Matters, and I fucking loved it. After Causalities didn't do much for me because, like I said, it came out really, really early when I was listening to him. But Z2 absolutely delivered. Minus Wandering Eye, I love every song on this album. And again, I'm on it, which definitely helps. No, not really. And then there's like a third disc that has Dark Matters without Ziltoid. Who the fuck listens to Ziltoid and doesn't want to have Ziltoid in it? I don't understand that logic, to be honest. But, you know, you do you guys. I'm extremely biased when it comes to this, but that's kind of the whole point of this channel. I am not here to make the objective best albums ever. You know, people want fucking Number the Beast as number one for Maiden. People want Fragile number one for Yes. You gotta have Red at number one for Baroness. What the fuck else? Yeah, just have the exact same list as everyone else. Hell no. Hell no. This is my channel, and Dark Matters is my fourth favorite Devin Townsend album. So, you fucking get used to it. Okay, anyway. Alright, now it's time to go back. Way the fuck back. The ultimate classic Devin album, Ocean Machine. People always say, if you're going to start to listen to Devin, start with this one. And it's really not surprising why. Every single song on here is phenomenal. You know, Bastard and The Death of Music, I think, are the major highlights. But then you have, like, Funeral and Sister and Regulator and Life. Oh my god. It has such a great vibe and such a great tone that I can easily recommend this album to anybody. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry for your loss. And I think he was just on a absolute hot streak during this time. Because at the same time, working on this album, he was making another album, which was City. I mean, God, I don't even know what to say about this one. I mean, by far, my favorite strapping album. I mean, the leap from Heavy as a Really Heavy Thing to this is astronomical. You want to talk about a man who annihilated the sophomore slump. Fucking strapping. Now, I don't think it's objectively better than Ocean Machine, but I do find myself listening to this one more often. They're both very good for very different reasons, but yeah, I'm a City stan. All Hail the New Flesh and Oh My Fucking God are strapping staples. Then you have the underrated jams like AAA and Underneath the Waves. Then it finishes off slower with the Room 429 and Spirituality, which I didn't know Room 429 was a cover for a long time. Let's not forget the best hidden track of all time.
Strapping young lad rocks my hairiness.
And you know, Detox and Home Nucleonics are really good too. Detox was like one of the last ones he ever played, which I like, but it's definitely not my favorite one on the album. But Home Nucleonics I think is really good, especially like that middle like bridge riff is so fun to play. It's so simple but so fun. Many of you, including Dev himself, prefers Alien for strapping, but I'm a City man. And, but, fuck man, there's only one album that could top the heaviness and greatness of strapping. And as far as a single Devin Townsend album goes, my favorite is going to be Deconstruction. Fuck, man, like, I don't even know what the hell. I have like a script here, and I still don't know what the hell to say. Stand, Jular, Planet of the Apes, The Mighty Masturbator, and Deconstruction. Those tracks alone elevate this album to the top. Because you have songs like Praise the Lord and Pandemic, which I think, you know, it's a good intro and outro, respectively. But yeah, the only ones that is Sumeria and Pandemic. I never got into really fully at all. But all those other ones I just listed, I will listen to individually all the time. So by all means, I don't think this is a perfect record. Like the last few albums we just talked about, I don't think you have any weak tracks. But half of this album is just so beyond those other ones that it's just an automatic number one. From the slow and steady build-up of Stand and Michael from Opeth being on it, to the constant ludicrous double bass in Jular by Dirk, and also vocals by Isan, to the phenomenal drumming in Planet of the Apes and the Tommy Rogers guest feature, to the epicness that is The Mighty Masturbator, this long-ass piece that has just the whole, like, breakdown section, like, give it up, your life, or whatever he says. And then there's I don't know who the vocal is, but, you know, the guy's screaming, we praise God, we praise to ourselves. That whole section, and of course, every single second in the title track. Fuck, I have chills. You see this? Can you see that? I literally have chills just thinking about the title track. 100% the most quotable, the craziest, and the best song that he's done. And due to someone like Dirk, who is an absolute maniac on the kit, And, of course, all the guests. I already mentioned a couple, but Joe from Gojira is in Sumeria, which I like hearing him in there. Like, I can go on and on about this record and just how many great moments there are in it. But, bro, I have an hour and 14 minutes over here in Audacity recording, so I'm going to cut this video because, Jesus Christ, this is going to be a long-ass one. So, yeah, Deconstruction, man. Fuck. God damn. It's so good. It's such a good album. So, yeah, that covers my list, but I'm sorry. I have to go back and talk about another album again because separately, they're where they were in the list, but together they are the true number one. And it's going to be... Yeah, man, Z2 as a double disc album is my real number one. Like, split them up, it's Deconstruction, but put them together, and if I can just use a clip from Dragon Ball, it sums up my thoughts perfectly.
Who do you think you are?
We are
Z2, Dark Matters and Sky Blue.
have merged together to take
You.
down. Our two strengths aren't just added together. They're significantly magnified.
What? Not fair!
I mean, just everything about it, man. That was my first Devin concert. I got to get lessons with RVP. I got to meet Devin. The whole show was live streamed, and you can pretty much see me in the front row the whole show. And then at the very end, I bought one of RVP's sticks where it's like the Z2 Tour 2014. And at the end of the show, because I got lessons from him, you can see him handing me a stick personally. This stick, as a matter of fact. So, God, just the music, the whole experience, the live show definitely helped. Everything surrounding Z2 is just so personal to me that it's just my automatic number one. So there you have it. All 28 official Devin Townsend albums. Yeah, I did not want to include all the demos. I mean, I kind of did, because I wanted to have like a crisp number 30. But if I included the Astor demos, I would have to include all the other ones too. And 34 just seemed a little ridiculous. So I just cut it at the 28. But anyway, if you want my list of all the projects separately, here it is. This is my ranking of all the projects individually. And as far as my favorite section of Devin, it's the project, man. The Devin Townsend project is so far beyond all the other shit. Like Key was the only one not to make it in like my top 12 albums. And I'm sorry, Alex. But yeah, your experience with Key is my experience with Dark Matters. That's just how it works. Oh man, yeah. Be sure you just let me know what albums you like by Devin. If you want to do all 28, you go ahead. But man, let's talk about Dev, because he's easily one of the best ever. And I'm very excited for light work in a couple months. And it's December, which means that I have to start working on my 2021 albums ranked video, which as of now is 18 albums, and several of them are double discs. And that was ELP that I Emerson, Lake and Palmer that I teased in the last video, whatever it was. I already forgot who I did last, but I have to put them on hold because like I have to do these 18 albums for this month. And then in January next month, fucking Jethro Tull is coming back. So that's like another 23 albums that I gotta do for them. So ELP will probably come after them. And then it's gonna be my second anniversary, which means I gotta rank all my year 2 bands. So a lot of big projects coming up. And this was the biggest one. This is like my magnum opus. I there is no way in hell I am doing a bigger list than this one. 28 is going to be the most. Because unless I do like Frank Zappa or 500 Bucket Hat albums or Neil Young, I think he has like 1 million albums, which I'm not going to do any of those. So, Devin, you are going to be my MVP for life. And anyway, I'm done talking. I've been talking for 1 hour and 20 minutes now. So, oh my God. Yeah, just look out for my Christmas video where we talk about all the albums this year. Which also are these. These are the album contenders for this year. So, yeah, this was a crazy year, man. And, you know, with Porcupine Tree coming back next year, Jethro Tull, let's hope that 2022 is equally as crazy for music as 2021 was. So, that's it for me. Later, y'all.